Hi, welcome to Book Talks with Miss D. We are going to be discussing the BFG by Roald Dahl today, and I have some helpers with me, Andrew and our camera person Maggie, both in Miss Luanka's 4th grade. Yay, helpers! So today we are discussing, as I said, the BFG by Roald Dahl. This copy was illustrated by Quentin Blake. The story was originally published in 1982. The genre is fiction fantasy. And this version, the hardcover large edition, has about 220 pages. It all started one night. Our main character, Sophie, was tucked in her bed and she couldn't sleep. So she got up and looked out her window. And much to her surprise, she saw a giant. But not just any giant, the BFG. He's 24 feet tall.
That's not that much.
Pretty tall, and he plucked her from her bed and took her back to Giant Country. He said once he's been seen, he can't risk having her go back to all the humans and telling them about the giants. Unfortunately, back in Giant Country, there are 9 child-eating giants. So it is up to the BFG to keep Sophie safe and protect her from all the other giants. Sophie is very concerned that children from all around the world are disappearing because the giants are sneaking off at night and stealing them and eating them. Now don't worry, the children are not directly harmed in our story, but you do hear about it. So there are some dangerous parts and some scary parts, but overall, it's still a great book for kids.
It is.
Thanks.
I strongly recommend it.
Yep. So
Look at the camera.
if you like adventure, magic, excitement, giants, then this is the book for you. And if you weren't sure, I would like to read a little bit of it to make you realize what a great book this is. This is going to be read. I'm reading from the 2nd chapter, The Snatch. Under the blanket, Sophie waited. After a minute or so, she lifted up a corner of the blanket and peeped out. Oop. For a second time that night, her blood froze to ice. She wanted to scream. No sound came out. There at the window, with curtains pushed aside, was the enormous, pale, wrinkly face of the giant person staring in. The flashing black eyes were fixed on Sophie's bed. The next moment, a huge hand with pale fingers came snaking through the window. This was followed by an arm as thick as a tree trunk and fingers reaching out across the room towards Sophie's bed. This time, Sophie really did scream, but only for a second because a huge hand clamped down over her mouth. Sophie, crouching underneath the blanket, felt strong fingers grasp a hold of her. And then she was lifted up from her bed, blanket and all, and whisked out the window. If you can think of anything more terrifying than that happening to you in the middle of the night, then let's hear about it. And with that, I strongly urge you to check out the BFG by Roald Dahl. The call numbers are FDAH. You're going to find it in the fiction section with all the Roald Dahl books. Now, my friends do have a few questions, so let's go ahead and get those out of the way.
Hurry up.
Why do you like this book?
I like this book because I love adventure and fantasy and things that are nonsensical and fantastical and whimsy. And the BFG actually speaks a special language invented by Roald Dahl, which is called Gobblefunk. And I think everybody needs to learn Gobblefunk, and that's one of the reasons I love this story. Don't you want to know what the BFG stands for, Andrew?
What does the BFG stand for?
It stands for the Big Friendly Giants. Any other questions?
Do you like the author?
I do love the author. Roald Dahl, as many of you may know,
Me too.
has also written Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Glass Elevator, The Witches, and Matilda. And he's a really
I've read
great
them.
author.
I've read them
I think
all.
we have to stop because it's 5 minutes,
Thanks.
13 seconds.